Hey Homeworthy, I'm Annie and this is my home in Hudson Yards. Why don't you come see it?
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Annie Jorgensen. I'm a 28-year-old entrepreneur who lives in New York City. I do content creation and I also do freelance influencer marketing strategy. I've lived in New York for 5 years, and if you have ever lived in New York or looked for an apartment in New York, you know it can be like the Hunger Games. Like, it is intense and it is fast. Well, I am too type A to let the whole timeline of the typical apartment search happen. Usually what happens is that your lease is up within the month, you start looking for an apartment, and within the month you're in your new spot. But I just don't function that way. I need to have some time to plan and think about where I'm gonna go and where I'm gonna be and what my space is gonna look like. All that to say is I knew my lease was ending in June of last summer. And so around April is when I started to look for apartments. And so I went on probably 40 different tours. I know I saw at least 40 units, maybe not 40 different buildings, but I saw so many. It was my first time living in a studio by myself. It was my first time getting to decorate an apartment 100% by myself, where I got to pick and choose every single thing, where every single thing was gonna be something I wanted. So I was really excited, but I also felt like I put so much pressure on myself to find the perfect spot. There was a few things within my search that I was really prioritizing. Because I'm a content creator, I get a lot of mail and a lot of packages. And in my last apartment, I would get packages stolen all the time. So I knew I needed a mailroom, which also kind of led it to have a doorman. So I was looking for a doorman building. I'm a content creator, so I also need great natural light. I have a lot of things, and so I needed lots of storage space. And after searching for many weeks, I came across this place, and it is perfect. It is exactly what I needed. It's about, I think it's technically like 15 by 15 feet total, but the way the apartment's organized, it's more like 12 by 15. But I'm loving the space. I've been in here for just about 5 months, and I finally feel like I'm settled, and this place feels like home. So this is the entryway. Right when you come into this apartment, this is what you see. Like I say, I have a lot of things. And so I knew I wanted to have something really easy access close to my front door to store all my tennis shoes and my things that I just take as I go. So this is from Amazon. It was probably about $80, $85. And this is where I store all of my sneakers and shoes. It says up to 12 pairs of shoes. I have shoved way more in there. So this is where I keep all my shoes. There's another level down here. And then there's also this drawer, which is great, which I have many random things stored in here. I have purses, pickleball paddles, attachments to my vacuum cleaner, just the things that, take up storage space that you don't want to see. And then also, because I only have one closet, I wanted to have something that is easier to access, if a jacket or a purse or a bag on a day-to-day basis that I use really frequently. And this is a really great coat rack that I found on Amazon too, that you can just pull out these little hooks and then place whatever you need to hook on them and then tuck them away when you're done. And I think it's just something that's really subtle. You almost don't even notice it as you're walking in, but I really love the detail that you can just push the little hooks away and it feels very clean. We'll save this for later. This was my viral closet project, which I'm very proud of, but we'll unpack that later. In my hallway, you see a lot of art, which is very fun. I think something that's really important for a small space, it feels counterintuitive, but when it comes to art, you want large scale art on these walls to make your space feel bigger than it is. So that's how I came to this beautiful painting photo. I actually found this at HomeGoods, and it was probably $150, $160. So for a piece of art this big, it was very affordable, very cost effective. I came down the escalator, I saw her, and I gasped. I was like, I have to have her. I carried her all around the Upper West Side all the way home. And then also this light is actually a rechargeable light from Amazon as well. So it has a remote that you can turn it on and off. You just charge it with the same charger of my phone charger. And it's a great way to make this piece of art feel like it's a moment. On this side of the wall, These are two different pieces that are really important to me. So while I was Miss Georgia, I spent a lot of time in Savannah. Savannah is actually the home of the Girl Scouts, which makes sense of me and the project that I had with the Girl Scouts. So as I was Miss Georgia, someone gifted me this beautiful painting of Savannah. You can see all the Spanish moss, and I spent a lot of really important and memorable times there. So this is a great memory. And then up here is actually a picture from Positano, Italy. And my brother studied abroad in Italy. I was not lucky enough to study abroad, not in my program, but I saw this at the Upper West Side Bazaar. And so I thought it would just be such a special moment to capitalize, a beautiful family memory that I have with my memories of Savannah. So now all I need is a picture somewhere in this apartment of Wisconsin, and I'll have all of the different areas of my life. I grew up in Wisconsin, and then I went to the University of Georgia for college, where I studied broadcast journalism. I also grew up competing in pageants, and so when I went to Georgia for college, I saw that there was a local pageant to the Miss America organization on campus. And so my sophomore year, I was very excited to dive into the pageantry scene. I had taken a year off, so I was ready to get back into it. I competed for 3 years, and then right after I graduated in 2018, I ended up winning the title of Miss Georgia. And so that was my first full-time job out of college. I traveled all throughout the state of Georgia and all throughout the Southeast. I actually developed a confidence program called I Got This that I sold into the Girl Scouts of America. And so I spent that year touring around to Girl Scout troops and schools, speaking to specifically young girls about where confidence comes from and how they can live their most authentic lives. So I love that. I am so passionate about making sure that girls specifically feel really confident and empowered in who they are so they can live their lives to the fullest. So that was my job right after I graduated from college. And then that finished in June of 2019. And I knew that I wanted something bigger than, Atlanta. And so somehow I fell into New York, and I actually signed my lease to move to New York without a job. And so I was searching for jobs and, trying to find something that would employ me, that I could survive and afford to live here. And then the night before I moved into my apartment is when I got my job offer, which is how I fell into influencer marketing. So I was hired to be a coordinator at a fashion PR firm. And so I learned all about the influencer marketing industry. Because of my experience in pageantry, I knew about influencers. I enjoyed creating content on my own. I had a somewhat minor following just from my pageant years. And so it was so interesting to me to work on the brand side and understand contracting and how brands actually execute influencer programs and what all those nuances and details mean. So I was at my first agency for 2.5 years. And during that time, I was actually cast to be on a reality dating show called Joe Millionaire. It was on Fox. It was basically Fox's version of The Bachelor. And I loved it. 2021 was my year of yes. And so I was saying yes to everything, which is kind of how I fell into this show. But they had found me on Instagram. I went through, I felt like thousands of interviews that summer. And then we filmed the show from August to October. And so for those almost 9 weeks, I was completely off the grid. I didn't have access to my phone. I didn't talk to my family. I was just very much in the trenches of filming this show. I ended up making it all the way to the end, and then he ended up picking the other girl, who was the other finalist, which obviously he's a stupid idiot, but it ended up working out way for the best. And so that show came out in the winter of 2022. It was so much fun. I had made really amazing girlfriends from that show, and I also worked to build my social following just from the show airing and really leveraging what I learned about the content creator space, and ended up, making and growing pretty significantly on social. From there, I moved to a different PR firm, still working in the influencer space. And then after a year of being there, I kind of came up for air, and I thought, I kind of know how to do this, and I think I can do this on my own. And it was Valentine's Day, so kind of on a whim, I ended up quitting my job, and since then I've been pursuing this full time. So I'm a full-time content creator, and I still do influencer marketing strategy for brands on a freelance basis, but it's really empowering to be my own boss. Sometimes it's really scary, but overall I'm having so much fun. It's such a nice challenge where I feel really accomplished when I'm busy and when I'm doing things, and when I'm not as busy, it's extra encouragement for me to work a little bit harder. So these shelves are, I think, really beautiful. I have this issue when it comes to clutter in a space. I don't want clutter out. I think everything should be really intentional, but I did want to have this bar cart shelving moment. And so you'll see some of very important moments and items that I love. So starting at the bottom, I have a family photo, and I had a friend asked me to be her bridesmaid with one of these flowers, and so that was really special. So I like to have that out as a memory. I also collect matchbooks and corks from important wine bottles, and so I have them all in here. It's a work in progress. We have a lot of room to grow, but there's some fun memories that I can pull these out and always remember them. This cork is really important. So in my last apartment, my roommate, her dad had just retired. So he came with her mom for the weekend. We popped a bottle of champagne to celebrate his retirement. And then 2 weeks later, he ended up going back to work. And so it's a very funny memory. The interesting thing, and I think when it comes to my apartment, oftentimes people ask me what the style is, and I just like have no idea what to say because one, I don't really know what interior design styles are called, what they're named, but also I think that my apartment has so many different aesthetics throughout it. Like this bust, also a home goods find. I just thought she was so glam, and so of course I had to have her, and she makes such a nice statement on the shelves. I wanted a bar cart. I don't like to have liquor out and about all the time. I think it just gets sticky and dusty, but this was a great workaround that I could have at least a shelf of that. And when I was working in PR, I met an influencer and her husband who actually is a home designer. He has amazing decor, and he actually designed these champagne flutes and glasses. His name is Max IDNY. And I'm just so amazed by these. I think they're so stunning. And I got them over a year ago prior to moving into this apartment. And as I was unpacking, I noticed that the colors worked perfectly in this space. So here is the perfect place for it. And then one of my best friends, Anna, gifted me these martini glasses with these olive little skewers. I love a dirty martini. And so this was just a really beautiful and sweet present that she gave. The advice that my mom gave me of recommending to pick colors in the apartment to match the colors that I like to wear, I always gravitate towards green and I always gravitate towards blue. And that's what makes me feel really calm and at peace. It's a color while it's still kind of a neutral. So it was my way to like really get color in the space. And I wanted it to be dark within these corners just to add a little bit of dimension in the space. And so I found these colors at Sherwin-Williams and they did such a good job. This color is called Oak Moss, and I will remember what the blue color is. It'll come back to me. But this shelving unit itself is actually from Amazon as well. It was really easy to put together, and then I just screwed it into the wall. And it's one of those things that the more I found on Amazon, there's like really amazing things that you don't have to spend that much money to get moments that are really stunning. So you'll notice throughout my apartment there are lots of colors on the walls, and because I was moving into a studio apartment, in my previous apartments, I've always had roommates, so we all had bedrooms and then a living room. And in my head, I couldn't have my work desk in my bedroom because I couldn't separate work from rest. And I really wanted my bedroom where I sleep to be that oasis where I can just relax. It's very calm and serene. And so as I was moving into a studio, living in one room, doing everything in one room, I wanted to make an effort to make every single space its own area. You'll notice that by my bed I have a wall painted blue, so that's my bedroom area. Where my dining room is all green, and then my office is in my white space, which is also my living room. I say that, it's all just like little corners of this apartment, but it really does help compartmentalize what I'm doing in the areas where I am. And even in the 4 or 5 months I've lived here, I really do feel like this is larger than a studio. It feels like it is multiple, if not rooms, at least areas, and it's worked. This is my dining room. I love this table and these chairs. I actually ordered these chairs from West Elm right when I moved in June, and it had like a 2-3 month wait period for them to come in. So I just got them in a few weeks ago, and they are everything I dreamed of and more. I love them so much. They're so comfortable, and I think the added dimension of blue in the space brought in the color and really tied the whole place together. I actually have the 2 chairs I had here from Amazon stored under my couch still, so when I have guests, I can pull out the chairs and we can all have somewhere to sit. Something I love about this corner is this pendant light. So this light is from the Home Depot, and it is 100% not plugged in with any electrical. We just screwed it to the top of the ceiling and then used a Bluetooth light bulb that you can just use a remote to turn it on. So it's very easy. This piece of art is also a home goods find. Again, you'll see a lot of a common theme here that we're balling on a budget, especially when it comes to art. If it's not something that's impactful or meaningful to me, I just want to find something that I like. And a lot of times Home Goods knows what they're doing. And so I found this and it was a perfect match with all the colors. On this green wall, it could stay clear, but I'm on the hunt for like a structural metal gold piece of art in some way. So I'll see if I ever come across anything that fits in this space. Otherwise, it's just going to be blank for now. Coming into my living room, this is where I spend a majority of my time. I know I have this beautiful dining table, but I eat most of my meals on the couch. When it comes to storage and space, again, like you got to take any space that you can and maximize all of the opportunities you have. So this TV console, this is actually its third apartment that is lived in. This is from Home Depot, and I have stored all of my linens, my towels. It's not the most organized thing anymore, but cabinet area is my linen closet. You'll see my towels and some extra sheets, some extra candles, and a lot of purses down there. So that's on this side. And then the other side is just like games and books and candles and purses and sunglasses. I got a lot of things. This is the things shelf. In terms of the storage and the decor of the console table itself, gotta have a lamp. This lamp has been with me since college, so I feel like I have this just like emotional attachment to this lamp. I can never get rid of it. I love a candle warmer instead of lighting candles, because this I can leave on all day, or if I happen to step out and forget to turn it off, like I know this candle will be safe. And it also makes the candles last a lot longer. That I'll burn through candles in like a week. So I've had this candle for at least a month or two. And so I like that the scent stays, but it's a little bit safer. This is where I keep just extra remotes, chargers, things that aren't super exciting, but it's a beautiful box that you can store all the ugly things in. And then this last piece, this was actually a find from my mom. She found this on Facebook Marketplace in Wisconsin when she came to help me move. It's beautiful. I love a calla lily. Calla lilies were actually my parents' wedding flowers. So I look at it and it's just really pretty, and I like all the colors to it. I don't know who the artist is though, so if you are from Wisconsin and you painted this, please let me know so I can give you all my kudos. And then coming into the rest of the living room space, my issue here is that I had a big old gripe against glass coffee tables. My old roommate and I had a glass coffee table. I was like, never again. It got so dirty, all the fingerprints on it. I knew I didn't want glass. I didn't want white. It would have been too much white in this space. And now that I had this dining table, I knew I didn't want wood either. So I kind of was at a loss. I was like, what kind of coffee table can I find that's not any of those things? Well, again, we were walking around Home Goods and we came across this beautiful blue bench that I've searched high and low on the internet to try and find the link to it. It must not exist because I can't find it anywhere. But it's so comfortable. I love putting my feet up there that it's just like great to lounge on. And then instead of having a true table, I got this tray, and this is where I put my drinks, and it's a nice stable place to leave everything. And I keep my Kindle, my glasses, my remotes. It's all organized right there. Sometimes it's not enough table space though, and so I got this extra little C table from West Elm. This is a great spot where I eat breakfast or my lunches, my snacks. This is where I keep all my stuff. And then I also have another side table if I have a friend come over and they need somewhere to put drinks, or if I'm going to bed at night and I want to have my water bottle close to my bed. This is a great C table, also from West Elm, that I just move around my apartment. Wherever I need it, it comes with me and it's great. This is my couch. This is my pride and joy. This is where I spend most of my time in my apartment. But this couch is from West Elm. I would say this is the most expensive piece in my apartment, and it was probably like somewhere between $1,500 to $1,700, if that tells you anything about the cost of what is in this place. So it's a decently priced couch, but it's exactly what I needed. And this was key because if I have any piece of advice when you are moving, think about timing your deliveries and your orders to your moving time. So I knew I had my move-in date. I bought this couch probably like 5-6 weeks in advance, and I scheduled it for the day after I moved in. And so it was so seamless and perfect that I didn't have to worry about moving the couch. But as soon as I was ready for it, it came and I was here. The rugs in this area of my apartment are all from Rugs USA, or I should say they're both from Rugs USA. They're great. They come with little pads in the rugs too, and so it's really comfortable. And I like it too that they're very easy to clean, which brings me back to the couch. That another piece of advice is that get a couch that has fabric that's treated. I have spilled so many things on this couch already, and you would never know it because one, am an expert cleaner, but two, because it's treated. And so like yesterday, I got some makeup on this little armrest. You'd never know it. I was racing around one morning trying to eat my eggs in the morning and I spilled basically an entire jar of hot sauce on this couch. Again, you never know it, but the stress of spilling things on a white couch was never good. These pillows, I think, are from World Market or like one of those types of stores. Again, like not super pricey. I was honestly a little bit concerned about that shade of green in this space. It felt very lime and a little bit too bright. But then once it got in here, it all came together and it felt like the different dimensions of the greens and the blues. You don't need to match everything in your apartment. It just needs to go. And so this was something that was a risk, but it worked and it goes. In terms of my throw blanket, this is the coziest, comfiest blanket in the history of ever. My mom and dad actually have two of these in our home in Wisconsin. And so it's nice that when I cozy up with this, it feels very familiar. This is from Macy's, I believe, and it's about $100 for a blanket, but it is really heavy. So it's a nice like weighted blanket. In the summer, it gets a little hot, obviously, but in the winter, it's perfect. So like I said, this is where I spend a lot of my time. I love TV. I watch a lot of TV and a lot of movies. And especially now that I live by myself, I feel like I just put things on in the background to have background noise around. So I'm obsessed with the OC right now. I'm almost done with it. And so if you have any show recommendations, I am all ears. But when I'm not eating on the couch or watching TV or shooting content, I'm working. And this little cozy nook is the dream when it comes to working from home. I work from home full time. I am an entrepreneur. I work for myself, especially freelancing. This was the move. This chair is from Amazon. It was the viral crisscross chair, which I'm not going to pull it out because I have spilled many things on it and it's not, these stains didn't come out as well as they did on the couch. But it's a really great desk. This desk is its second apartment that it's lived in with me. This is from West Elm. I love anything that's Bluetooth, and I'm a Mac girl through and through, so you'll see a lot of Apple products. This monitor, kind of a fun fact, but now my friend's fiance, they just got engaged this weekend. This was his monitor, and he sold it to me. So it has seen finance world, it has seen content, it has seen it all. And then for decor around my space, I have a lamp that's honestly, I think it's an Amazon lamp. Like it's nothing crazy, but I did like the structure of that it's nice and rectangular. I felt like it went with all the angles in this corner. And then this mirror and then these two pieces of art along the TV have been with me since college. So these have been around for 8-9 years at this point. That's something about me is if there's something decor-wise that I really like and that it feels great, I can use it again and again and again. And so a lot of the things within this space are, brought down from many years of being together. And so even don't look too close into these because they're a little bit yellowed. I think they were in my sorority house, but definitely in my college apartment. Then as we make our way through the space, something that was really important to me when searching for an apartment is natural light. And you'll see my apartment has two beautiful big windows. I love the natural light that I get. I'm a big person on like the sky and the sunrise and seeing a sunset, which I don't get a good sunset view since I'm north facing, but I do get really beautiful natural light throughout the day. And I have some fun plants out and about. This one is fake, so nothing really crazy to share there. This aloe plant, I somehow have not killed it yet. I like to think I can take good care of things, but because it's, the plant that doesn't need to be watered very often, I always forget. So it's really trying to die, but it just won't die. And then I have some fun pictures throughout my apartment, mostly here. This is my friend Rory Pan. As I mentioned, I was Miss Georgia, and the Miss America organization also has a teen program. And so when I was the Miss, Rory was my teen, and we spent the year together. She is a genius. She just graduated from Harvard, and so I'm very proud of her. She lives in Boston now. It's fun that we can keep in touch. And then this picture is my friends from college. These are some of my sorority sisters. And these pictures, honestly, I haven't changed them since I think I've moved to New York, and I've lived here for 5 years, so maybe it's time to refresh some of these photos, but I just love them. I think they're really special. This is a picture of me and my dad, also from my time in college. You can tell there's a lot of college-related photos because, like I said, I haven't updated these photos, but it's fun. I like looking back on these memories. My Instagram is how I keep up with my current life. I love to decorate, but if I have, you know, a direction. And so I think because this was the first apartment that I got to design 100% by myself, I put so much pressure on making sure it was perfect. And honestly, when I was just moving in and starting to plan the interior of what I wanted, I had just watched Palm Royale on HBO Max. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. But I loved the interior of that entire show. It's very like Floridian 60s, like very luxurious. And so that's kind of the inspiration that I started with. And then somewhere along the way, I felt like I was losing myself in the whole process. And so as I started to, you know, really dive into how I wanted to design the space, my mom gave me the best piece of advice. And she said, think about the clothes that you like to wear and what you gravitate towards in terms of color, and use that color in your space. And so I love to wear neutrals. I love to wear greens and blues. And so you'll see that a lot of my space is greens, blues, neutrals. And because I chose those colors, it really does feel like me. And I'll have friends come in and they'll look around and they'll say like, this is you to a T in an apartment. So I feel like I nailed it. Now we make our way into my bedroom vanity area, and I think this is my favorite piece throughout my entire apartment. This is the third apartment this closet has been in. Everyone needs a full-length mirror in their space, so this is mine, but it's not just a full-length mirror. It doubles as my shoe closet. So I have my shoe storage near the front, but this is also where I keep most of my heels and my fun shoes. I'm a shoe girl. I really do love shoes. You can't have enough. And this is where they all live. So I love that, and it's a great way, again, to utilize storage space in fun, interesting ways, and ways that, you know, maximize the space. And then make your way into the vanity. I do a lot of beauty content. I also grew up dancing, doing gymnastics, and in pageants, and so I've done my hair and makeup for years. It's something that I just really enjoy. You know, some people, when they cook, they're like, oh, like that's how I wind down. It's relaxing to me. That's how I feel when I get ready, doing my makeup and my hair. And so I love this corner. The natural light that comes in is perfect. It's stunning. I've had this, or a version of this little mirror, all the way from freshman year of college. And so I've had 2 different ones. This is like the newer version. So love this. I have all my fragrances out here. This table is from, I believe it's from Wayfair. And so it's like not the most expensive thing in the world. It was probably $100, but it's where I keep all of my makeup. Don't look in it too close. I need to clean it. Don't look at it. I opened it, that's on me. Also, in terms of storage, again, you need as many things as you can. So I got this stool from Amazon, and this is where I store all of my electrics. And so I have chargers and camera stuff. But again, like where you can find storage hacks, take them. So that's great. Something fun that I received in a PR package was this mini refrigerator. And it came with, the brand was called Mingle Mocktails, and so it came with a bunch of mocktails. But now, this is where I keep some skincare. Obviously, it's a little empty right now. I just cleared out some of my skincare, but this is where I keep some of my skincare that I like to keep cold. That adds a nice experience when you start using it. Again, when it comes to storage, take as much space as you can. So as I was moving in, I knew I had my closet here, and then I had my vanity, but I had about a foot of space between the two. So I thought, what could I find to fit there to put more stuff in? So I found this drawer set on Amazon as well. And this is where I keep extra things like my setting spray, some sunscreen. I keep a lot of sunglasses. Honestly, this is just like a random one, but a lot of glasses and sunglasses in here too. Again, storage is key. And then I have had these shelves in an apartment since I moved to New York. These are from IKEA. This shelving unit I think is $90, so it's like not that expensive at all. And this is where I keep my jewelry, my shoes, but these shoes I have out because they're incredibly important to me. When I first moved to New York, my birthday was about a month after I moved here, and there was a sample sale from SJP, which is the Sarah Jessica Parker collection. Most of the time, if you're a girl in New York, you know Sex and the City, you love Sex and the City. I have loved it. And so when I saw SJP was having a sample sale, I immediately ran. I went with my roommate, one of my best friends at the time. So we went and we go and we're shopping around. And all of a sudden this voice from behind me was like, oh my God, those will look great on you. I turn around and it's Sarah Jessica Parker herself. And it's my 24th birthday. And so I'm on this sample sale on my birthday. I had just gotten to New York. And so she helped me pick out these shoes, and they say the heart of New York on the back of them. And I just think it's so special. And I will never forget that Sarah Jessica Parker herself sold me these. And I only was gonna get one as I was there. But then I also found these the same day. I love the two-tone pink, and she said that I needed both. And so I got both. So this piece of art was another find from the Upper West Side Bazaar, which is basically just a market that has clothing, vintage pieces, art, obviously. And so I went with my mom the week that I moved to find a few pieces that filled the space. And I saw this ballerina, and I grew up dancing, so I love ballet. My grandma is also a big fan of what is that piece of art called that is the ballerina? You know what I'm talking about, like the statue? Anyway, my grandma loves that piece. And when I saw this print of a Degas, I just had to have it because it very much reminded me of that. I had a while of going through and naming all the people in the art that I have. So I joke that they're my roommates. And so this is Sophia. And this blue is the perfect baby blue that I was looking for. This color is called Cape Blue. I think it's beautiful. It's cozy. It's bright, but it's not a baby blue, which is exactly what I was looking for. Then moving on to my bed. A bed must be comfortable, right? Like if I'm gonna sleep there, I wanna be really cozy, and I like to have it feel really luxe. You'll notice I have 1,000,001 pillows on this bed, and within the duvet cover, one of the tricks that I have seen all over the internet that I of course had to use myself was stuffing 2 duvets inside the comforter. And so it adds a nice life to it and makes it really, really luxurious. And also because you have 2 duvets, it feels a little bit heavier. So it feels kind of like a weighted blanket, which is really cozy. My bed frame itself is from West Elm, but I needed a little bit of extra lift. And so if you look really closely at the bottom, you'll see that I put these little risers on my bed, which allow me to have space for extra totes under my bed. So I have extra shoes down there, extra beauty products. I am a content creator, and so I receive a lot of PR and a lot of gifts from brands, which is really great. And so if you're ready for this, I will show you where I keep all of my gifted PR in this tote. And in here, there is so many serums, so many purses, bags, brushes, makeup. So every year or every 6 months or so, I have what I call a gifting suite where I invite my friends over and they come and they just pick out whatever products. One person can never use this many things. And so it's really nice to have and re-gift these products to people that will enjoy them and use them, because I don't want them all to just sit under my bed. So that is this. And I have totes this size. These are all from the Container Store. I have, I think, 6 under my bed, potentially 8 total. And this is where I also store all of my winter clothes. So when I transition my winter to summer, I put them in vacuum seal bags and then slide them under my bed. The last thing I'll say about my bed area was, because this wall is just a little bit more narrow than the full-size bed that I have, I didn't have space for a headboard. But I had to have a headboard, right? Like I'm an adult, like I have to have a headboard. But this is a headboard pillow that does exactly what it needs to. It gives the job of a headboard, but that way if I am laying in bed watching TV, I can move it around, and it adds for a really extra comfort while I'm watching TV from bed. Storage tips and tricks are my bread and butter. I have a lot of things. I have a lot of stuff just in general, but also as a content creator, I receive so many products from different brands and clothes. And so I knew that within a studio apartment and living by myself here, I didn't want to feel like I was living on top of myself. I would start to feel like really overwhelmed and cramped. So smart storage was something that was really important to me. And I also think that, you know, there's so many different ways you can go with storage. You can find cabinets, and I think what's important is finding things that aesthetically fit within your style, but then serve as storage. So it's dual purpose. It's not just storage, but it's also nice to look at. What happens there is that can get expensive really quickly, and so I found a lot of good workarounds of how to find things that stored items without breaking the bank, because I'm balling on a budget here. As I take you on a tour of my apartment, you'll see all of these little corners and pockets of where I'm storing things. Also, the advice that my dad gave me before I moved to New York is, he said, remember it's a vertical city. And for whatever reason, I will always remember that. And so I have used all of the vertical space within my apartment. You'll notice I store things under my bed. I store things up, you know, high in my closets, or you'll see other places I have lots of shelves. So I use every single inch that I can. This is my bathroom. I won't take too much time to show you what it is, but at least you'll know that I have one. Great lighting, great mirrors. Something that I thought was really special and smart within this space is I put some dried eucalyptus in the shower. And so just the scent that it gives as you're showering gives a really nice experience. It's very luxurious. I'm a very clean person though, and so I like to have everything really like clean and tidy. Also, if you are moving into a space, no matter if you're in a studio apartment like here or a home, the best thing I've ever done is to put my hamper in my bathroom, which is like not rocket science here. I'm not, you know, creating fire, but having this hamper from Amazon, a really easy Amazon hamper, love it. It's so great. It's just right there. So when I come home from a workout, I can drop my dirty clothes in there and jump in the shower. And it's so easy. Also in here, one thing I'll call out in terms of storage, again, there was like kind of an awkward amount of space between the toilet and the vanity area. So I found this like truly less than a foot wide cabinet from Amazon. It's where I keep extra, you know, products. I have some sunscreen in there, nothing crazy, but it's a great way to add more storage space to a space. And then the last thing I'll mention is my favorite piece of art. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace as I was moving and looking for things, and I just thought she was so funny. Her name is Pearl, and I feel like sometimes that's what I feel like in the shower, so I thought she was perfect. Welcome to my kitchen. I have to be honest, one of my resolutions when I moved into this new apartment was that I was going to cook more. My friends like to say that I have raccoon hands because I'll just eat through whatever groceries I have, and my meals are just like the most random things of food put together. I love good food, but I don't enjoy cooking for one that much. So now that I have this gorgeous kitchen, I am trying to cook a little bit more. I have perfected stir fry, so that's my go-to when it comes to cooking, but both my mom and my brother are amazing, like true chefs. And so whenever I have questions, I'll pop my phone up and FaceTime my mom or my brother and we'll cook together, which is really fun. The space is really nice that I'm very blessed with all of this cabinet space. You can always have more storage though, right? And so you'll notice that I have baskets all throughout the kitchen. And so within those baskets, I have honestly some like hardware supplies, some tools. I have extra napkins and paper towels. Now that it's winter, I have all of my scarves and hats and gloves in one, and then that's actually a picnic basket. So I have that for when it does get warmer. But because there's just a few inches on top of all of these cabinets around, like that's really great, useful space to use for storage. And so, like I said, once, I'll say it a million times, I always try to use all of the space available. My favorite corner in my kitchen is my coffee corner. And this is really special to me for many different reasons. My grandparents gifted me my Nespresso for coffee every morning, and when they gifted it to me, obviously they welcomed me into my home, but my grandma said something that was so sweet. She was like, that way every morning it's like we can have coffee together. So now when I drink my coffee, it feels like I'm having coffee with my grandma. And behind it, you'll see this beautiful piece of art. My mom recently took up painting, and this was her first painting that she ever did. And it's obviously very abstract. I think it's beautiful. My mom might be cringing watching me talk about her artwork, but I think it's amazing and I'm very proud of her. And it reminds me of this piece of art from our family room in our family home, there was a piece of art that was similar to this, so it feels very homey now that I have it here. There is an element that I'm still waiting on. This wall is very white, and so I've been looking for a piece of art to fill in this. I want it to be pretty large, like maybe like this big or so, which also means I have to love the art when I find it. I have a handful of weddings happening next year that I'll be all around Europe and around the country. So I'm hoping that on one of those travels, I'll be able to find a piece of art that I love that can live there. So when it comes to decor and design, not every wall needs to have art. And so I was looking at this entry wall right when you come in. The front door is right over there, so it's one of the first things you see when you walk in. But I have art in so many different areas, and down the hallway, you'll see art on the walls. So I wanted to find something here that is not art, but is still something interesting to look at. And what's better to look at than some delicious wine? And so I found these wine racks. It's actually 3 different ones. These are from Amazon. And so the rack itself probably altogether was like $25. And you'll find that to be a common theme throughout my apartment. Nothing is crazy expensive. Everything is very affordable. It's very cost effective. And this was a great way to showcase the wine and champagne that I do have in my apartment while still being really pretty. Closet space in New York is everything. It would blow your mind if you don't live in New York of walking into apartments and seeing just like the weird layouts that some places have. Like some have a closet that's this big and that's it for like a pantry and a closet and coats and everything. And I'll say it once, I'll say it a million times. I have a lot of stuff and I don't want to see my stuff. I want it to be put away, but I also want to be able to see what I have as it's away, or else I'll forget what it is that I have. So I just need to be able to access everything. And so closet space was really important to me as I was looking for it. So when I came to this apartment, it honestly made me a little worried at first that there was only one closet in the space, but then I was on my tour and I opened the closet and I realized I would not have an issue with that closet space. It's not a walk-in, but it's a step-in, so it's a little bit deeper, and it's also about 8 feet wide. So it is the biggest closet I think I could potentially find in New York, so I'm thrilled with it, but I still have a lot of different areas for extra storage outside of my closet. I'll show you too when I take you on the tour that within my closet I have maximized the storage space, that it's not just hanging space. I have some totes and drawers and baskets in there too, so it's to the max, all things storage. Now it's time for my pride and joy of this apartment. My closet. I have posted my storage tips on TikTok and on Instagram, and they have gone viral. So I'm excited to share them with you today. This is the dream closet that I could have never imagined that this is what I have. But like I said at the beginning, this closet, I knew there was only one closet in the entire apartment when I moved in and when I was looking at the space. And I was nervous about that just because one closet does not seem enough. And so I walked in and saw it was this closet, and I knew I was going to be okay. So as you can see, it's pretty large. It's about 8 feet wide, and it's, like a good probably 2, almost 3 feet deep. So I do have some depth to it, but there are definitely ways that I have amplified the storage space within the closet. So first you'll notice I have some baskets. So this is where I keep some swimsuits and cover-ups and things that are a little bit more seasonal. So when the seasons do change, I can just move them around really easily. It's actually probably time for me to take my winter clothes from up there and put them here and put my summer stuff up there, but it's easy enough both ways. And then also I have lots of wall space, which has been really helpful. So on this side, you'll see I have hats stored against the wall. Remember when I said we like to use all of the vertical space? So this is some vertical space we're using. These are some extra totes of seasonal things. Up there, that's a Christmas present, so surprise for who it's for. And then I have my coats over here. Like I said, I don't have a coat closet. This is my coat closet, but I like that there's this separate area of hanging space that I can really differentiate between my clothes and my coats. So the coats live over there. I also have, I have my suitcase under the coats, and behind that I have a set of golf clubs. So I don't know how often I'll use them here. I've used them twice in the time that I've lived in New York, but I have them in case I need them. I have these drawers these are also from Home Depot actually. And so these are great These are not the most aesthetic storage, but you don't need them to be that super aesthetic now that they're behind closed doors in the closet. But this is a great way to store some of my workouts. These are like my loungewear sets. It just makes it really nice and tucked away. And all of these drawers I bought individually, and so I can move them around if I want to. I'm thinking about potentially getting another row of 3 if I need them, so we'll see. And then my favorite storage hack that I've come across in terms of apartment living are these 5 hangers. They're a hanger that you can store 5 different things on there. And so you can do, there's 4 here, and then there's a little hook at the front that you can add more on. But this is just such a great way to save space in your closet that you can hang so many more things. So you'll see on this side, I have 2 hat racks. And so as I get hats, I just put them on, again, using the vertical space, especially for things that are awkward to store, like hats. It's great that I can see them. I know what I have, but it's pretty out of the way. I also have extra tools and light bulbs here, just like electric stuff. Up here, I have, one of these is a memory box, just like of fun tickets or stubs and letters from things. And then the other is the most exciting, like banking information filing system. And then I have my vision board up there, which you'll see. It's almost time to make a new one, but it's crazy. It was my first year making a vision board, and a lot of the things I put on there actually came true. So I feel like there's some merit to it. You'll also notice that at the top, I have some of these motion censored lights. They're a little bit finicky sometimes, but when I open the door, it's great to have these lights there from Home Depot. And that way it adds obviously some light to this space, but I can see my clothes a lot better where I'm not digging through the dark to figure out what I want to wear. I can actually see what I have, which is a game changer. And then the last thing I'll mention within my closet are these shelves. These are from the Container Store. These are called the Alpha unit. These are just baskets that I added to the space because there is not a great space here to add a dresser. And so I was like, where am I gonna keep my socks and my underwear and like that kind of stuff, my pajamas? And so my mom and I found these at the Container Store, and it's a great way to just store my things. So these are all my workout sets. I have pajamas down there, you know, anything that of that, like things that you would typically just throw in a dresser in a drawer, that's where they live. But yeah, I love my closet. I love that I can see what I own, because my thing, and I notice that a lot of my friends are the same way, is that if we can't see it, we'll forget what we have, or we'll just not feel like we have the effort and the energy to like find a tote, pull it out, steam it out. This way I know what I have and I know what I can wear, and it makes getting ready feel like an experience. Home to me means a place of peace and feeling really safe and secure and comfortable. As I was thinking about designing places and as I visit my friends' apartments and homes, something that keeps recurring is that if you feel comfortable enough to take a nap in somebody else's home, that's when you feel, you know, safe, and that's when you feel like you're at home. So I wanted my home to be somewhere that when people would come to visit, that they felt comfortable enough, they could take a nap, they could relax, that they come in and from the craziness of the city, it just feels really calm and peaceful. And I think I've been able to hit that. Homeworthy, I had so much fun hanging out with you guys and telling you about my apartment. I have to get back to work, so you guys don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. Get out of here, see you later.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.